The Aero Precision EPC-9, the PCC that you build yourself. Is it any good? Sure is fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Sawtooth Tactical, and this is the Aero Precision EPC-9. EPC for Enhanced Pistol Caliber, 9 for, you guessed it, 9mm. And this is a gun that I built myself. This was my very first AR build, and that is kind of how Aero Precision does things. They don't really sell whole guns. They sell all the parts that it takes to make whole guns yourself, which is really cool. And while now I'm building much more expensive guns with much more expensive parts, Aero Precision got me into the building game with the EPC-9. I've had it for a few years now. I've put lots of rounds through it, and I feel like I can finally do a full real review on this gun. If you're interested in getting a pistol caliber carbine and you're wondering if building yourself an EPC-9 is worth it, we're going to attempt to answer that question in today's video. We're going to talk about reliability. How does it shoot? Accuracy. What's the point of a pistol caliber carbine? All of those things we will talk about today. So make sure you're subscribed, and let's go over the Aero Precision EPC-9. It's hard to deny the pure fun of a 9mm pistol caliber carbine. What is the EPC-9? Like I said, enhanced pistol caliber 9mm. It is a direct blowback 9mm pistol caliber carbine. And most AR-9s are going to be of this variety, being direct blowback. It's a very simple system, but it's a simple and reliable system, and it has been proven that it works well. Now, there are things out there like the MP5 that uses a roller delayed blowback. There are things like CMMG that has a radial delayed system. This is your standard direct blowback, but for someone maybe building their first AR, that makes for a very easy, simple build, and direct blowback is very reliable. A lot of people want to talk down to it because it is simple, and a lot of what I've heard is that, well, a direct blowback AR-9 has just as much recoil as a 5.56 AR, so what's the point when you're only getting a pistol caliber round out of something that recoils just like a rifle caliber gun? Well, I'll be the first to tell you, it doesn't feel that way to me. This gun does not recoil very much. But that could be to a few factors. Maybe the way that I put it together. I do have a big ass muzzle brake on it. Maybe that's part of the reason it doesn't recoil much. To me, this is a very soft shooting, easy gun to handle. Quick word from this video's sponsor. I've been using Aero now for a couple of months. I know you guys have seen it in my videos if you've been watching, and it's a product and a service that I really actually believe in at this point. It has totally stopped me from getting spam calls. Now, data brokers are a real thing these days. Scammers, spammers, all this stuff. I've been trying to sell a pickup truck lately, and at first all I was getting was scammers. Well, Aero took care of that, and I'm not hearing from the scammers anymore. Unfortunately, I still haven't sold the truck, but I've got a lot of examples like that. In fact, the place where I work just recently got scammed, and we lost out on a whole day's worth of revenue. Well, Aero can stop things like that from happening. They search the entire internet for anywhere where your information is being sold to people, and they submit opt-out requests on your behalf, which takes care of your information being out there. It clears you up, so that you stop getting spam calls, you stop getting scammers. There are people out there these days whose whole career is just scamming people out of their money by finding their information on the internet. And as sickening and as sad as that is, it's a reality. And for only $12 a month, you can stop them from being able to take advantage of you. If you use my link, which is the first link in the description, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical, you get to try it out free for 2 weeks. And then you can decide if it's something that you still want to stick with. But Aura is pretty confident that you'll stick with it, and that's why they give you that 2-week free trial. $12 a month after that is a really good deal for all of the different things that you get with Aura. I've been sticking with it for a few months. I'm really happy with it. I respect my privacy and I respect yours. Since putting this thing together, I have customized it a bit. Now, it is not fully finished. I am waiting on maybe the most important part, the suppressor. That is in ATF jail right now, and I'm hoping to see it soon. And when I do, we will have a video about this. Most people, if they're gonna build one with this length barrel, this is an 8.3-inch barrel, are going to do it as a pistol with a pistol brace. And that is how this gun was originally put together, but it has been SBR'd. And I got to admit, after SBRing a few of my short-barreled guns, to me, it is worth the $200 tax stamp. It is really nice to be able to run my favorite stock, the B5 Systems Bravo stock, and a vertical foregrip. It feels much better to me than it did when it had a brace and an angled foregrip. And so it is up to you. Save yourself $200 and run the brace, or pay the $200, be put on the list. But you know what? If you get suppressors or anything like that, you're already on that list anyway. And let's be real, if you've ever filled out a 4473, you're probably already on a list, as illegal as that is. A lot of people ask why you would use a pistol caliber carbine when rifles and pistols exist. And I get that, a rifle is definitely gonna have a more effective cartridge. But it's hard to shoot a pistol at distance as easily as you could shoot something like this. What makes this an EPC-9, being that it is a build and not just an amalgamation of parts? Well, what it is that I used Aero Precision's EPC-9 lower receiver, their EPC-9 upper receiver, the Aero Precision bolt, and I used Aero Precision's Atlas R1 handguard. Now, the R1 handguard is not proprietary to their EPC-9. That is just an AR handguard that they make. And in fact, I've got it on a couple other guns, my 16-inch 5.56, as well as my short boy 300 Blackout. The barrel in this is a Ballistic Advantage barrel. Now, Ballistic Advantage and Aero Precision, basically the same company. And when I put this together, the Aero Precision barrel, I just couldn't find it in stock, and I needed a barrel to finish this build. And so, my local gun shop, Guffey's Gun and Pawn, love those guys, they ordered me a Ballistic Advantage 9mm barrel, 8.3 inches to go with the 7.3-inch handguard, the length that I wanted this gun to be. Now, you can make this a number of different lengths. You can use like a 6-inch barrel and a 5-inch handguard, and you can go all the way out to 16 inches if you want. You can go 10.5, anywhere in between. They make 9mm barrels at multiple different lengths, and you can put any handguard, any AR handguard that you want on this thing. In fact, this does take many, many standard AR parts, but not the operating system, not the receivers. Those are proprietary, and they do work together to make a very reliable system. That is one thing about building a 9mm AR. There is no mil spec for an AR-9 like there is for a standard AR-15. And so while you can use parts from all kinds of different companies if you want to, you could find yourself running into issues doing that. I think depending on your housing situation, something like this could be a really good home defense gun. Light, optic, capacity, and speed. So first things first about the EPC-9, and where I started with it, is going to be the lower receiver. And as far as AR9 lowers go, I think that this is a very good one. It is a Glock mag lower. Now AR9s can come in a number of flavors. You can get Glock mag ones. You can get ones that take Colt mags. You can get ones that take CZ Scorpion mags, even MP5 magazines. Glock mags are reliable, they're cheap, and they come in these long fun sticks. So it was a little bit of a no-brainer to me. Although I do think like the MP5 and the CZ Scorpion mags that curve forward, more like that or like that, I do think that those are more aesthetically pleasing, but it's easy to find these Glock fun sticks. They work. And so that's what I went with. And also my local gun store, again, Guffey's Gun and Pawn, they carry Aero Precision parts. That's what got me started on this build. I was just in there one day. I saw the 9mm lower and I bought it. And that started my first AR build. So this lower receiver has a very nice flared magwell that makes reloading Glock mags very easily, which is a good thing because since they are slanted backwards, it may not feel as natural to you as a regular AR mag reload. And so it's nice to have that big flared magwell. Now there are some proprietary parts on this lower, but the proprietary parts come pre-installed. So it has your mag release here because Glock mags release from the front of the magazine, not the back like a standard AR mag. So you have to have a pivoting mag release where you end up with the button in the same place you normally would on any AR, so it feels natural for you as far as the controls go. A lot of companies don't do this very well, and it doesn't feel good when you go to release a magazine. This one is an exception to that rule. It feels totally natural, and it's very easy to hit that mag release. Now, one other thing about this lower is that it does have last round bolt hold open. Another thing that many AR9s don't have. And it's a very cool system the way they do this. You have your standard ping pong paddle and with an empty mag in here, pull it back. And as you can see, it does hold the bolt open on the last round. Hit your paddle and it goes forward just like every other AR that you've ever used. To me, that is a feature worth having, and it's a very nice thing to have on your AR9 so that when you do reload, you could just put a new mag in, drop the bolt. You don't have to recharge the gun, anything like that. It does use standard AR parts as far as charging handles. This is a Radian Raptor. Safety, it's a Radian Talon. Triggers, you can put whatever AR trigger in that you'd like to in it, but blowback 9mm are a little bit more violent on the trigger, specifically the hammer, than an AR-15 is that, you know, has a locking, rotating bolt in it. And so you do kind of want to pick a PCC specific trigger. This one happens to be the Rise Armament PCC trigger. And this thing is really nice. Let's ghost that trigger together. So safety off. You can see the nice flat blade, which I like. That is the break. There is no take up. It's a single stage trigger. Reset, break. I mean, honestly, these days I put Geisley triggers in all my ARs. I don't really go for the cassette style triggers anymore with the anti-walk pins, but being that it's a PCC, I didn't want to have any problems, so I went with a PCC trigger, and I am very happy with this one. Again, like I said, some things I put on every AR, the Radian charging handle and safety, I just think they work really well. Now, the upper is another proprietary deal. As you see, there is no ejection port cover, and the ejection port itself is smaller, you know, to accommodate 9mm instead of a longer rifle round cartridge coming out. So, and the upper works with the lower as far as to make that last round bolt hold open work. So if you're gonna get this lower, you might as well get this upper. You don't have to, but they do work together. Now, I even went with the Aero Precision 9mm bolt for this build. That for a long time was kind of unobtainium. Luckily, at my local gun store, they just had it on the shelf, and so I bought it. But apparently people look for this Aero Precision bolt and can hardly ever find it in stock. I did see it in stock on Aero's website just before recording this video though, so right now you can find them. And I've had no problems with it at all. It's worked great. The only real issue that I've had with this gun is when I first put it together and I would put a full mag in. Say I had a full mag in with the bolt already locked back. Went to drop the bolt with the regular bolt release, and the round would get hung up on the feed cone. Now I say feed cone, not feed ramp, because it literally is a cone. There aren't M4 feed ramps in a 9mm barrel. I don't think I could take this apart and show you guys on YouTube. YouTube doesn't like that for some reason. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do.
A few moments later.
So we did it off screen, but you can see there the barrel and where the rounds feed into it. It doesn't have much of a feed ramp. And the newer barrels, both Ballistic Advantage and Aero Precision, they have remedied that. It is definitely more of a ramp to get those rounds fed in there, because apparently it was not just me that had reliability issues with that. I was able to remedy that fairly easily though. All I did, I bought a Dremel. I used the the cloth polishing wheels, put some compound on it, and I polished the absolute shit out of that feed cone, specifically the bottom of it, where the rounds feed in from your magazine. And now the thing runs perfectly reliably, and it has for about the last 1,000 rounds, no issues. Took it out today, put 100 rounds through it. Again, no issues. This thing is perfectly reliable now. But when I first put it together, it wasn't. And I shouldn't say it wasn't reliable. It was mostly reliable. If I charged it with the charging handle, it would feed pretty much every time. And every time I took a shot and the bolt would cycle, it would feed fine. It was really only on reloads when I would put a new magazine in and go to drop the bolt, it would hang up. But that was enough to be a problem for me. Even if a gun might just be a range toy, which this was just a range toy for me for a long time, I want it to be reliable. Now I've kind of decided this could be more than a range toy, especially now that I've SBR'd it, that I have a suppressor coming, that I've got a decent light on it. I've got a Romeo 5 Sig red dot that I've had for years that's never given me trouble. So really, as much as I love my EOTechs and my fancier stuff these days, this thing's been beat up more than any of my other optics, and it just keeps working. So until it has a problem, I don't really have a reason to replace it. So I think that this could be a good home defense gun. Just like my 300 Blackout, it's a round that works out of a short barrel and maintains its effectiveness. And so you can build a very short maneuverable gun, and you can get rounds, 147 grain, that are subsonic, that suppress really well. It'll run hollow points, but specific hollow points I've found. I like the Spear G2 or the gold dots because they have the polymer inside the hollow tip. They just seem to feed better than some of your sharper tipped hollow points. Again, that feed issue I was talking about. But if you get the newer barrels, you won't have that issue. Those do feed hollow points well from the research that I've done. One of the big benefits of a pistol caliber carbine is because a pistol caliber works in a short barrel, you can build something super light, super maneuverable, and super fun. A lot of people, their home defense gun is, their 9mm handgun. That's their bedside. That's what sits, on your table next to your bed. Well, then why not run something like this that you can be more effective with than a 9mm handgun? It runs the same ammo. So if you're running a specific ammo, because you're worried about over penetration, something that's an expanding hollow point, this will work for it, as long as you either get the new barrel or you run the right hollow points, like I said. So it'll run the same ammo as your pistol, but you can run it like a rifle, meaning that because you can shoulder the thing, you can run it much faster, much more accurately, much more confidently, in my opinion. Again, light, optic, all the things you want for home defense, including your capacity, which is going to pretty much beat out most handguns. Now, of course, if you have a Glock, this will go right up in the bottom of your Glock as well. But it's the magazine you're gonna run in something like this, not the magazine you might run in your handgun. And so I think that that is one of the points of something like this, is depending on your situation, this could be a great home defense option. Now, what's the other good reason for it? Well, I think as a training tool, this is fantastic. It has all the same controls and ergonomics as any other AR-15, yet it's shorter, it's lighter, this one recoils less, and it runs cheaper ammo. You know, I can go to the range and run a couple hundred rounds through this for less than $100. A couple hundred rounds of 5.56 or 300 blackout is going to cost me a lot more money. So you can get good practice in without spending as much on ammo. And I think that's pretty sweet. 9mm is cheap, it's easy to find. This runs 9mm. You can also shoot steel up closer with it because you're not going to have to worry so much about spalling when a 3,000 foot per second 5.56 round hits steel. You don't want to be too close to that. Well, when a 1,000 foot per second 9mm ball round hits it, you have a lot less to worry about that as far as splashback. So you can practice CQB on steel with this. That's pretty sweet as well. I did some of that today. And you can shoot farther away with it than you can with a normal handgun and still feel very confident. If you are worried about the recoil of a direct blowback 9mm, you know, this freaking brake on here really, really works well. This is a Gamma VG6 Gamma 9mm brake, and it does the job. But I also have a suppressor coming for this. When it comes to just pure fun and enjoyment of shooting, not many things can beat this Aero Precision EPC-9. I feel like a platform this short, this light, this maneuverable, that takes rounds that you can get subsonic 147, 150 grain rounds for it, needs to be suppressed. So I have the Whip Machine and Tool Dirty 30 on my 300 blackout, while Whip Machine and Tool, the guy Higgins, has seen my videos and he sent me out their Mod 1 Naughty 9 9mm suppressor specifically for this gun. So if the ATF ever decides to approve that, we will show that, because I think that a suppressor on something like this just makes sense. It's short enough that adding a few inches of length to it is not going to make much of a difference. And then if you did have to use it for home defense, with the suppressor on, you don't have time to put your ears on, you're not going to go deaf. Pistol rounds in general, not as loud as rifle rounds, which is another good reason that if you might have to use something inside your home, a pistol caliber platform might make more sense than a rifle caliber platform. Now, obviously, my home defense gun is a 300 blackout. I do believe in rifle calibers, but if that's, a concern of yours, this is a great option. Now, as you can see with the brake, I do get black stuff all over my light. I mean, it still works, but I do have to clean that every time I clean the gun. Otherwise, it's just not getting all the lumens, all the candela, and I believe in all the lumens, all the candela. This is a pretty sweet gun. It is very reliable after the polishing. It's accurate as far as, I haven't taken this thing out to 300 yards. But for the distances that I would shoot a PCC at, this thing is easy, like super easy. You don't even have to concentrate. The recoil is low. The reliability's there, the shootability's there. It just feels like a short, light AR, and the fun is there. That's the biggest thing. There is almost no gun that you can own that's going to be as fun as a 9mm PCC. This thing just makes you feel good. You can go fast, you can go far, you can go close, and you can just run through ammo without it ruining your bank account. Kind of feel the same way about this as I do about the 2011 platform, my Springfield Prodigy. Both guns just make me feel confident, and they're a ton of fun at the range without hurting my wallet too badly. So let me know down in the comments if you believe in pistol caliber carbines or not. Some people are really against them. I think they're a ton of fun. Do I think they have their place? Absolutely. Do I think rifle rounds are more effective? Of course. But PCCs are fun as hell, and you know what? It is okay to have fun. One of the great things about shooting is that it's a good time, and this gun is a really good time. So if you want something fun, if you want something that's easy to build, I mean, there's no gas system or anything with a direct blowback 9mm, this is a great option, and it'll make you feel good about yourself. Put a gun together, an easy gun to put together, take it to the range, and mag dump, and you will have a smile on your face. And that's part of the point of this whole thing. Yeah, you know, self-preservation, home defense, all that stuff, of course. Second Amendment, but you know what? Fun is okay too. So let me know down in the comments if you are a fan of PCCs or not. And if you are, let me know what PCC you run. Are you an MP5? Are you a CMMG? Are you a, AR9 person? What do you run? I would love to hear from you guys, and I will attempt to answer as many questions as I can. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Share it with anybody that you think might like this type of content. If you want to support the channel, sign up for Aura. First link in the description, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical. You get 2 weeks for free. Cancel anytime. $12 a month after that if you stick with it. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.